It like kicked me out. Hold on one second. Good.
And welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mary Jo. We have a jam-packed show today, and we're going to kind of switch things up a little bit. We're going to start off with kind of a summertime visit from the Reynoldsburg Robotics Team. So why don't you introduce yourself, tell us about your roles with the robotics team, and then we'll get into some good questions.
My name is Aiden Slisher. I am the business lead for the Reynoldsburg High School Robotics Team.
My name is Carly, and I'm the team ambassador for the High School Robotics Team.
And she's also participating as an intern here at City Hall over the summer as well for my office. So welcome to the both of you. It's summertime. Why aren't you just like relaxing and chilling? What's the deal? You're actually looking like you're doing stuff. So what's going on?
We generally try to keep we have these things called outreach initiatives, and our outreach is like when we try to get out into the community, and a lot of the ways that we succeed as a team is we keep it rolling during the summer, and we try to be a part of the community as much as possible, even when school's not in session.
All right. Well, I know you guys have some wares here, so tell us about it. And I think I know where it came from, but not everybody watches. So go ahead. What are these all about?
Yeah, so each year the robotics team goes to 2 different competitions, and at one of our competitions this year, the Buckeye Regional in Cleveland, we were lucky enough to receive the 3rd highest award in FIRST Robotics, which is the Engineering Inspiration Award. The Engineering Inspiration Award celebrates a team who has outstanding commitment to the growth of engineering in their community and school district. And we received this honor because of our dedicated commitment to year-round outreach and just growth of engineering by coming out to the community, demoing our robot, by inviting students to come to our space and learn from us. And for all that work, we were awarded with the Engineering Inspiration Award.
That's pretty cool. So you had a couple of competitions. How did they go, just in general, other than getting the trophy for that you mentioned?
At our first competition, Buckeye, we went to round 3 of playoffs, which means we were selected for an alliance, which is like basically just teams. And then we went through a not double bracket. Is it double bracket?
It's a double elimination bracket.
Double elimination bracket to round 3, and then we unfortunately lost. But that's pretty far for our team. It's farther than we've gone in the past 2 years.
The furthest we've gotten in 8 years.
All right. Sounds pretty good.
Miami, we didn't get as far. We didn't qualify for playoffs, so it was okay. We had a fun time, and we qualified for our state competition this year. It was 20 out of 58 teams or something like that?
So 32 of the top 32 FRC teams in the state of Ohio. Currently, there's somewhere between 58 and 64. First is not exactly sure how many are still active. Mm-hmm. And so we were in that top 32 that got to go to New Albany High School and compete with just the teams in Ohio, because normally at our competitions you're competing against maybe a team from a different country, teams from New York, teams from Florida, teams from Illinois this year. And so the state championship, the way it's structured in Ohio, where in some areas of the country that your state championship is what determines for Worlds. In Ohio, it's really just after everything is done, you get together the best teams in Ohio and you guys have fun and play for bragging rights.
Well, it's always good for that. So I know school's going to start up much later in the summer, because we wouldn't want to think about starting school sooner than that. But eventually when school starts up and there's somebody out there that maybe they have a child that is going to be going into high school or somebody who's already in high school and they want to become a part of this, how do you recruit people?
So recruitment, we are planning later in the summer to have an open house at Summit High School to begin recruitment. But especially if you are the parent of a rising 9th grader and you are interested in joining robotics, either say something in chat, reach out, and they can get you in contact with us, and we would love to have you on the team. Recruitment's going to be big for us this year.
Okay.
We are always looking to add more members to our team and grow the appreciation for STEM.
And there's always, the thing that I like about it is for those that might not be technically savvy, for the technology piece and things like that, there's other roles that you guys have that they can participate in. You mentioned outreach or marketing and some of those types of things. Those are some of the other ones that they can be part of something while not necessarily doing all the wiring or coding or something like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of
Neither
options.
of us know what a robot looks like. Like on the inside, none of us know.
All right. Well, anything else that I missed that we want to cover other than a great season and obviously these cool little awards?
So I would like to thank our 15 sponsors. all from the Reynoldsburg community. So Dynalab, Edward Jones, Doug Brickett, TS Tech, the Fraternal Order of the Eagles, the Taylor family, Everest Technologies, Texas Roadhouse, Mojo Sports Gear, McMullen Engineering, the Reynoldsburg Lions Club, Coffee Paradise, Eye Care Associates, Slab, Evans Funeral Home, and Archon International Grocery. And if you want your name added to that list next year, please reach out to us. We'd love to have more sponsors.
There you go. It's always a good thing with it because I know that that's always a good thing because these robots they cost money. You got to get the supplies in and things like that. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. You guys are free to do you're free to do whatever you want. You've got to go back to work. I'm sorry. It's going to be there. Now, we have another set of guests coming in. We were going to welcome Councilwoman Mildred Johnson. Unfortunately, she was called into work to stay a little bit later, so she is not able to make it. So we're going to bring in Jennifer, who might know something about what's going on with Juneteenth on the 20th.
I might know something.
Okay. So, we're familiar with what Juneteenth is all about, but for our celebration...
Oh yeah, we got
There we go.
Look at our new.
All right, just stand there for 10 minutes. No. All right, so let's go through the big things with this one. Let's talk about what's going on, what time does it start, where is it located?
So it's on the 20th from 4 to 8 at Huber Park. Really excited about the event this year. We have a couple new things that we're adding. One of the big things that I want to talk about is a spades tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something new we're trying to figure out. We're hoping to get a lot of people to sign up for that. We also, if you sign up, we've got some free cards that you're going to get that have been branded for the Reynoldsburg Juneteenth. So we're excited about that. So the link to sign up is on our Facebook page and on the event page. So if you're looking to play, we'll also have some time where just if you don't want to join for the tournament and you want to sit down and play some cards with your friends during the event, we're going to have that available to you as well. So we're excited about that. We're also really excited that Columbus Zoo is going to be joining us again. We haven't had them a part of this event for probably 4 years. And so they're going to bring their animals out, and that's going to be part of the event again. So we're hoping to see the penguin. That was my favorite last time, so they'll be there as well this year. Sensation is performing. The fashion show, Tanya Kelly, who with Empower Youth, she does a phenomenal job.
That was a lot of fun last year.
Oh my gosh, she just is incredible. She doesn't need us for anything. She just, we let her know, like, here's your room, you go at it. And she's done such a great job of coordinating this fashion show. And so if you haven't been to the event to see that, it's worth to see these kids. It's really a neat part of the event. And so thank you to Tanya for all that she does and the work that she puts into that. I know there's a lot. I don't know if she's still taking entries, but you can reach. There's information on the event page about that as well. We'll have a kids area, and then we have a new partnership this year with Kids on the Block. And
not new kids on the block.
Not
right?
new
Okay.
kids
Just
on the
making
block,
sure.
but Kids on the Block. And they're going to be doing braiding hair, offering some, teaching skills how to braid hair, and doing some hair on site during the event for free for our residents. So we're really excited to have that partnership this year. Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when and where is it and what times?
It's the 20th from 4 to 8, June 20th. I'm right?
At Huber Park.
Yeah, at Huber
Huber
Park.
Yep.
I knew all that information, but I'm just testing the person that's supposed to actually organize and have all this together. And so I'm glad she's on top of things, everyone.
June 20th from 4 to 8 at Huber Park. We'll be there.
Well, June tends to be that month that it becomes a whirlwind. Like, so for those of you that aren't, not that nobody is doing anything, but really February, March, April, kind of calm in communication events. And then it kind of ramps up towards the end of April. Then May, it starts to be like, and now June is just crazy because not only do we have this, we've got Concerts on the Lawn, which we can talk about. That was a great event last weekend.
Yes.
We've got Pride this weekend. We've got another Concert on the Lawn. We've got Food Truck Friday. We've got Park event. There's something going on almost all the time. And so that's why you look so calm in all of that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, those are the big things that I have for you. Again, Councilwoman Johnson would love to be here. She will definitely find a way to come back and be on the show in the not too distant future. It's been an exciting week in social media and some questions and comments and things like that for the last week or so. So I have a lot of information to go through. Also have some questions to answer that were asked last week that I had to get the information on. And as usual, some nuggets. And most importantly, if you are still watching, don't turn off until I give you the biggest news of the day beyond the extravagant, wonderful things that the robotics team is doing and the amazing things for the Juneteenth and Pride and whatnot. I've got a restaurant announcement that I can finally make clear to everyone out there, and I'm very much I've been waiting for this one for a while. I've been twiddling my thumbs. Some of my staff is like, we can't say anything until they submit. They've officially submitted, so now I can talk about it, but you have to wait till later in the show. So, it's got to stay on. So first thing, council review. We did have our first read after a couple of work sessions on an Airbnb policy. As you might be familiar, Airbnbs are relatively popular, and Reynoldsburg is no different than any other community. We have a number of Airbnbs all the way throughout. For the most part, our Airbnbs kind of go about their business, and you don't realize that they're Airbnbs, but on occasion, sometimes these things turn into something that they should not be. And while we can still find ways to regulate them, City Council has worked with the City Attorney's Office and Assistant City Attorney Cassidy Triplett to come up with our own policies and procedures. So they went in for their first read this past Monday. They got 2 more to go and see if there's any changes. Basically, it does not ban Airbnbs, but it does put some restrictions on there as well as registration. So that way, if a location for an Airbnb has one of those teen takeover events, or basically things are not happening as they should be, it gives the city a little bit of teeth to actually go after them and follow up with some certain things. So that's really the only exciting thing from council. But I did get a couple of fun nuggets. Everybody always talks about, hey, how big is Reynoldsburg? And most people are not familiar with how large of a city, population-wise, Reynoldsburg is. So the mid-census information came out in the last week. And so just to give everybody a reference, in 2020, January 1st, 2020, and going through that, population of Reynoldsburg was 41,083 people. In 2025, at the mid-census calculation, we're at about 43,350, or about a 5% and change increase. So we are growing. We are already big. I'm going to assume we're probably over that 43,000 number just because census usually misses a little bit of it. But we're a relatively big city. As a matter of fact, we are the 3rd largest suburb in Central Ohio. It may change with some of these other numbers, but we're still in there. Dublin and Grove City, I think, are the only 2 larger than we are, and that was really as of 2020. So even with some of the additional housing, we were already up there as well. Couple cool things coming up that I do need to talk about from Reynoldsburg City Schools. The first one, former NFL player and Pittsburgh Steeler, for those Steelers fans out there, Roosevelt Nix. Rosie Nix is going to host his 8th annual football camps for ages 6 to 16. It's on June 27th. Registration begins at 9 a.m. and the camp actually begins at 10 a.m. Admission is free, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that comes along with it, so I want you to check that out if you've got kids in Reynoldsburg City Schools that are looking to play some football. That's a great opportunity. I'm sure there might be some other NFL players out there. Also wanted to pass along information on his golf outing, because obviously he's raising funds to kind of put these types of events on. So check that out. You'll probably see the high school, the football camp come up there, but that's just another opportunity to meet Rosie and talk with him about his time in the NFL and also play golf, because apparently there are lots and lots of people that like to do that. We also have our Mulligan Golf Tournament. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. We've done this a couple of times before, but it's going to be sponsored, as always, by Heart Food Pantry and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. But this kind of is going to kick off a little bit of our last day of the Tomato Festival. It's going to be on Saturday, August 15th at the Westchester Golf Course. It's a shotgun scramble. You can go in and start and walk around and all that type of stuff and play. It's $125 per person, or for a team for $500. They have all sorts of great prizes, including things like closest to the pin and long drive contests. But it's all for a good cause, because it helps support our Reynoldsburg students that are trying to make that trip to that 8th grade field trip and some of the scholarship and grant opportunities for teachers. So take a look at that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there to kick things off. State Representative Meredith Lawson-Rowe will be there to kick things off. Because during Tomato Festival, I thought to myself, I don't sleep anyway, so I might as well go ahead and be there bright and early on Saturday morning to go ahead and kick those things off. With that, we have the Reynoldsburg Police Department. As I mentioned, we have our Women's Self-Defense Program is back. It's going to be on June 22nd, 24th, 29th, and July 1st. It's for ages 12 and up, so if you're interested, go ahead and check it out on the Facebook page, and you can go ahead and get that registration in. Now, to go over a couple of things in there, obviously flock cameras are still a topic. We had somebody come out and speak at council last week. Wanted to kind of go over a couple of things that were asked right before the show last week that I didn't have enough time to get information for, just to make sure it was verified. One, our flock cameras are just that. They're cameras only. They do not take video. We did make a joke that the only way that you're probably going to see somebody in a flock camera is if they're hanging out at their best friend's ride. But then I made a comment about scrubs, and then it became a whole other conversation. We do have 34 cameras in and around the city. However, there are a number of other businesses that have them, as well as the school district. Legally per contract, Flock is not allowed to sell any data that they acquire from this. So that is a legal contract. Take that for what it's worth. And the question was, how much did we spend on Flock Camera, or how much do we spend on Flock Camera? It's about $260,000 since 2022. Council is most likely going to get a presentation from the police department at some point before the August recess, but I don't have a date yet, but there's only 3 meetings left. So one of the next 3 meetings, they'll be there to have some, to answer some questions for that. The next one, I'm actually asking for a little bit of help from the community. We have seen a larger use of those electronic bikes and or scooters coming around. I've seen a couple in my neighborhood and things of that nature. They really were kind of limited last year, but this year I've already seen a lot more, especially with the nice weather. There are laws on the books already that regulate what these things are, especially the ones where, in essence, they're street legal and you're going 40 plus miles an hour and things like that. But for people that have had issues with it, we typically aren't getting those phone calls. So if there are complaints, if there's concerns about it, the police department is not receiving those phone calls. I've seen a few things on social media, but most of them are related to making sure that the kids are healthy and safe, like wearing helmets and things like that. But if you have concerns, questions, and you see these things in your neighborhoods and you're worried about it, you can report them to the Reynoldsburg Police Department. They need to know about it, because if something's going on that is not, I don't want to call it legal because that's kind of a harsh term, but if they're out of compliance with what they should be doing, unless the police officers actually see what they're doing at that moment in time, there's nothing they can do. They actually have to witness that particular issue. Same as really anything else all the way across, but specifically for safety habits and things like that, we'll be there. You're going to see a little bit more on social media from our communications team on that type of stuff, so that way people are aware of what the existing rules are and what they have to do to make sure that they are compliant. The last one is just some great, interesting tidbits on things. Everybody always talks about, hey, what's going on in terms of crime in the community? What's going on with, why don't we ever see people getting tickets and things like that? So believe it or not, traffic stops have increased. From 2024, we had about 5,500 traffic stops. In 2025, it went up to 5,914. We typically do these blitz day things where the entire department is focused for a day on specific residential areas to kind of remind people that no, in fact, you shouldn't be going more than 25 miles an hour in a residential area, and you have to follow the speed limit. And stop signs are not just suggestions, they're actually required. But they are out there with that. Citations have increased from 3,003 in 2024 to 3,450 in 2025. And arrests have also gone up, but typically not for traffic violations, but they have gone up from 2024, there was 1,417 to 1,496. So those are those kind of things. Any questions related to Flock or RPD related stuff at this point in time? All right, if they come in, I'll still answer them. Also wanted to let everybody know, we got our safes in. Remember last week we were talking about it? These are our gun safes, so they will be out at some of our community events all the way across, because one of the issues that we've seen when people break into cars is they're looking for guns. And if you can't remember to take your gun inside your house, maybe if you have a gun safe that's there, it's combination lock, they will be provided for free to residents. We're going to have a limited number at each of our community events. We may do a raffle, some things like that, but there'll also be gun locks at our events that RPD is at as well. So we got those in specifically because we are going to try and continue to be a store it safe community, because we want to make sure that our guns are put away and safe for everyone. With that, we've got road updates. If you've driven on Wagner Road, well, you've only driven on one side because the other side's been paving. Started paving yesterday, and I believe they're done with the west side of the road, so they'll be making a lane shift sometime today to go to the other side of the road. And that doesn't mean that it's going to open next week. What has to happen next is they actually have to put the casings around some of the water facilities throughout there. So that's going to take probably about next week to get all of that stuff done. And then after that are the pavement markings. The lanes will be striped and things of that nature. So depending on weather, and so far, knock on wood, we've been really lucky with that stuff. Hopefully we can get some of this stuff taken care of. And once the paving markings are down, the road will open up in both directions from Main Street all the way to Broad Street until Phase 2 starts. We'll know more about Phase 2 as we get a little bit closer. They're just kind of, I think, waiting for Phase 1 to finish up. So you're looking at maybe a week to 10 days at most. Again, unless it rains like cats and dogs every day for the next 10 days, and then it becomes a whole other issue. But we are in the final days of all of that, and you can see the paving as it's kind of come across. Other things, Wagner 2 talked about that. And then we have other cool things for this. We mentioned it last week, and we got some more information, and you're going to see a lot about this. COSI Week for Reynoldsburg. It's going to be a really cool event for all residents of Reynoldsburg. It's going to start July 20th through the 24th. We're going to kick things off at COSI on Monday, July 20th. I'm going to be there, and we're going to have some other people probably from City Council, from the school district, and all of that. And we're going to have some cool activities. They've done plenty of things before where they do the static electricity thing, so that's going to be there. They also have the rat basketball, which I know everybody here is thrilled about because they love rats. But they'll be there for rat basketball, and that's going to be a cool thing to participate in, and who knows what else is going to go on there. But the really cool thing is it's a discounted admission for everybody. So one, if you buy your tickets online, you're going to get $5 off anyway. But if you buy your tickets online, and when you get the information that we provide you about a code or a QR code for Reynoldsburg, you're going to get an additional $5 off. So you're going to get $10 off the price of admission to COSI for that entire week. So if you're planning on going to COSI this summer and you're in Reynoldsburg, this is the way you're going to do it. We're working on getting all of this information out there. We've got to do all the branding and make it all pretty and things of that nature. And the schools are going to advertise it as well. We're going to get it out there. But we'll definitely be out there on July 20th to celebrate all things cool for science. So make sure you're out there for that one. We have Adult Prom, which is Saturday, September 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. Yes, it's prom in the fall. We're just going to go with it. It doesn't have to be homecoming. But you get to dress up as nice as you want, or you can be a little bit casual and go have a few adult beverages and still participate in all the cool things from prom. They'll be dancing to what we now would probably refer to as old music, or music we used to listen to when we were there, as well as awards for King and Queen of Prom. So that's something that's going to be a lot of fun. Last couple of years, it's been really cool to be there. It's a great location at Eastside Brewery. So again, I hope you can make it Saturday, September 19th from 6 to 9 at Eastside. A little bit closer to that, we have Tipsy Tie-Dye Day at Eastside Brewery on June 21st. And Friday night game night at the Senior Center is June 26th. This is designed for adults 55 and older, and I'm sure no money is going to be changing hands while people are playing poker, because that never happens at the Senior Center. Just saying. Other things for those of you that are looking for some other fun stuff, sports fall registration is live. I know it's June 10th, and everybody's really just getting into the idea of having a warm summer, but fall will be here before you know it, so you have that. And now, the moment I've been waiting for a long time, the moments you've been waiting for a long time, we are now going to be able to announce who is going to be taking over the TGI Fridays location at the 256 corridor. So for those of you that don't remember or not, and because I'm trying to build suspense, the TGI Fridays went through bankruptcy, and so they had to go through all the legal stuff to get out of their particular contract, and then they put it out, and we were one site that was being considered for this restaurant. The other location that was being considered is the Polaris location. So we worked with them, came up with the developer, and now I can announce that under the Texas Roadhouse menu of restaurants, we will have what is called Bubba's 33. Bubba's 33 will be joining us. There's only a few in the state of Ohio. One is in Canton. Bubba's is going to come in. They're going to tear down the existing building and build a brand new building. And I have some of the menu items here. I'm not going to go through like the individual specific things, but they've got pizza, wings, they've got fries, they've got people who like salad, they have those. They have all sorts of dinner. They have some pasta, and they also have some fish options, appetizers, all of that type of stuff. It almost is kind of like a Bubba Gump's without the actual Forrest Gump stuff on there. So I am incredibly excited. This is going to come to our community. We got it over Polaris, so Polaris. There we go. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be about a year before it's complete. They're looking to open up around this time next year, but you'll see some movement out there as well. So we're really excited about it. Check it out. They do have other locations in Ohio. I think the closest one is Canton. I'm not saying you have to drive there, but at least you can take a look at what the restaurant is and what's out there. So happy and congratulations to our team that worked really hard to bring them in. Other development news, we have Build Your Own Business is going to be June 25th. It's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. It's going to be a great thing if you're looking to expand your business or open a business. It will give you all the tools you need to understand the ins and outs of everything. It'll help you meet people in our building department, zoning department, as well as small business loans, insurance, chamber of commerce, a little bit of everybody in there. And again, that's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. Any questions so far?
We do have one question.
Go for it.
Can you go over the changes to the church project on Bryce Road from initial concept to
Yep.
what is now being built, and what changes were made to the incentives they are receiving from the city due to the smaller build?
Yeah, they got no incentives from the city, so that's the easy one. They didn't. So basically what happened is they had original plan that was there, and then as COVID and everything that came after, their original plan of building became a lot smaller. So therefore they kind of downsized a lot of that stuff. There's still going to be a coffee shop, there's going to be meeting spaces, and it is in essence their headquarters for their group. The on tap are still 2 restaurant locations. So if you're thinking about where the old Kroger was, you've got the corner piece, McDonald's, an empty space, and a Taco Bell. The corner piece and the piece in between McDonald's and Taco Bell are still scheduled for restaurants. We actually had a meeting with them earlier today to talk about that. The retail and other portions of it are going to be on the Bryce Roadside thing. What that specifically look like is going to depend. It depends on, is it going to be like 2 or 3 larger retail operations, or is it going to be some smaller retail, things of that nature. And then the other part of it is they also own the strip center right next to it. So at some point in time, I assume that will also be taken down and built into something new. But they didn't get any incentives from the city. There's no tax abatements or tips or anything else like that for that particular project. So hopefully that answers that one. The building itself right now, if you haven't driven by, they do have a lot of it completed. You're going to see the glass windows that are up there. And because we had a relatively wet spring, their finish is kind of delayed a little bit till October-ish, give or take a little bit. Obviously, once they get the windows and the building set, then it's going to be a lot easier for them to do their work regardless of weather. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Next one up is the Bauman Farm. So we had a question on, there was actually, and thank you for actually putting a question when I post on all the community pages, and it kind of sits empty. It makes me sad, but in this one it was a question specifically about the Bauman Farm. So I can tell you as best as I can with what information I have. The last city council meeting, 2 city council meetings ago, the Bauman Farm was officially annexed into the city of Reynoldsburg. So that property off Taylor Road is now in Reynoldsburg. It is under contract, and they're going through their internal process of what's going there. But it was brought in as what is called innovation. Innovation it's a term that the city uses that encompasses a lot of different uses. So zoning plans are designed to kind of share what the use is that is allowed in a particular area. So in this particular case, innovation could include everything from logistics work to research and development to production to any number of other different options all the way throughout. So those are what are options and available to go into that location. Typically, developers already have an idea of, in general, what will go into an area when they come in, and that's why our zoning code is relatively innovative, is because they know ahead of time. So when they came in and annexed, it's going to be something along those lines. Now, we have not been given anything. We have not been given a site plan. We don't know exactly what's going on there yet, but once we do, we will let you know. For those residents that are concerned about the area in and around it, it's very simple. Our zoning code does have a lot of rules and regulations on buffering. Basically, buffering is stuff that has to go in between a residential area or other area and this new development. So a lot of that could be anything from trees being planted to mounding for dirt mounds, very similar to what you see on Taylor Road with the L Brands facility and what is actually being built now, which is the Core 5 project, which is on the other side of the street from the L Brands facility. Anybody have any questions after that?
Yeah, we've got 2.
Yep.
What is being built in front of Burlington on East Main?
I don't know. That's not in Reynoldsburg, but the rumor is it's a Dunkin' Donuts, but I'm not sure.
What is being built on Main and McNaughton near At Home? Is that the same?
I think it's on the other side of the street.
Oh, it's the other side, yes.
Yeah, that one, again, all rumor. I have no knowledge because it's not us. I've heard that it's a Chipotle on the, I guess you say on the north side, and it's a Dunkin' Donuts on the south side. I think that's what I'm being told, but it's not Reynoldsburg, so I don't know for sure.
That's it.
All right. So then we have a cool thing. So we know that there's a new candle shop that we were able to open up on Main Street, and now they are ready to move into their next phase. They're actually going to be able to host a murder mystery candle workshop that's very noir based. So it is a murder mystery. So I'm going to read from what they have. Step into the shadows for an unforgettable evening of mystery, candle making, and fresh baked cookies. Okay, that one really didn't fit, but we'll go with it, and it's at Ville Noir. During this immersive 1940s-inspired noir experience, guests will pour their own luxury-scented candle while unraveling a murder mystery filled with secrets, suspects, and scandal. As your candles cool and cookies bake, you'll take on the character, uncover clues, and attempt to solve the crime before the final reveal. Expect some smoky jazz vibes, cinematic storytelling, and plenty of twists along the way. If you are interested in that, check them out on Facebook and social media. They are going to start taking reservations for this. I think this is kind of a cool thing. You're looking to get out for a town, so you've got that opportunity. You've obviously got the restaurants out there. You can hit Slab and Vic's and whatnot, and then go have a murder mystery as well. So that's a really cool thing. Take advantage of it. You know, a lot of people talk about, hey, why can't we have this or why can't we have that? This is something that is incredibly unique to Old Town Reynoldsburg, and this could be a very fun experience all the way around. It's definitely unique, and I know that I am going to take advantage of it. So I hope you can join us in there again. Villa Noir, the Murder Mystery Candle Workshop. So I don't think you have to dress in 1940s gear, but anytime I have an excuse to dress in something period specific, I'm probably going to do it. All right, next thing we got to talk about, team takeovers. Perhaps you saw in the news the issue that Bexley and the city of Columbus had. Not something that anybody wants to have in their community. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, Pickerington had a very similar circumstance that actually led Reynoldsburg to change its policy to allow only 18 and up into our festival, along with wristbands. And there was a lot of outcry about that. There were a lot of people that were supportive. Not everybody was, but there was a lot of outcry with it. And unfortunately, because of the viral nature of these events and because of how they are organized and how quickly they can kind of grow from just a small group to a very large group, Reynoldsburg is reviewing its policies on everything from wristbands to who's admitted to how many, all of these other different things, specifically for the Tomato Festival and as well as the 4th of July event. So there's going to be some things in there that are going to be a little bit different because the ultimate goal is we want everyone to be safe. Do we expect that something like this is going to happen at one of our community events? No, but I don't think anybody does. But we do have to take steps to make sure so everybody can have a nice time. We will have these changes out to you as soon as we've kind of agreed. Obviously, this happened on Friday. It's Wednesday. We're going to going back and forth on, you know, tweak this, alter that, and make sure that it's not restrictive in any way for people who want to come and have a good time, but enough of a thing that's in there that we can do the best job that we can to make sure everybody stays safe and they can enjoy all of our festivals. Any questions on that?
Not on that, but we do have some other questions.
Cool, go for it.
Bryce Road sidewalk consistently has a lot of litter and as of late bird droppings. Can the city clean the sidewalk up a little?
Yeah, we can take a look at it. I know that's a great opportunity for a lot of community organizations to go out and clean. Now, if you can be specific in the chat, where on Bryce Road, because it's a relatively long corridor. And again, Reynoldsburg only has so much of it, but that is something. I know a lot of community groups do some things out there for cleanup. Maybe that'll be an opportunity for the staff. We can go out there and do some trash picking one day, because we actually try and get out there a couple of times to do that.
And then
can't do anything about the bird mess. That's we're just gonna have to wait for rain on that one.
Question about what is replacing a giant eagle on East Broad Street?
I don't know, because it's also in Columbus. That is not Reynoldsburg. I've heard a lot of rumors of everything. Somebody said it was going to be a laundromat, but I think they had a car wash right next to it that's actually the laundromat, so I don't know. Yeah.
What happened to the farmer's market? That's
a really good question. So it's kind of a combination of two things. One, we have people here that absolutely love the farmer's market. They think it is a great opportunity to get out there. The problem with Reynoldsburg with this is trying to find a location that serves the needs of everything. One, we have to have a location that is easy for vendors to get in and out of and to have their wares out. They want it to be as a visible location as possible, which is one of the reasons why it was on Main Street last year at Memorial Plaza, because it's really hard to miss on Main Street when you're driving by. The downside about that is the parking is actually taken up by the vendors themselves, so people either had to park at the next building next door where Brewster's used to be, or they would park across the street. And sometimes people paid attention to traffic lights and signals and walked across. Other people just walked across Main Street wherever they felt like it. So there was a safety issue from that. We've talked about that. Bringing it back to JFK is convenient because there's parking. It's easier for vendors to get in, but visibility is relatively rough. We talked about it at Huber, and it's the same thing. There's some space there for vendors, not as much as people realize, and so there's limited parking, so then people would have to park at the senior center of the YMCA, and then that becomes the tug and pull. But the ultimate thing that deals with it is our farmers market, because of the way that produce is and because of the way that some of our vendors are out there, we don't always have a lot of produce right in the beginning in June. That produce typically doesn't come in until July-ish, give or take a little bit, and so that hurts it. And then the other part of it is we have a lot of people that like to kind of walk and view everything and listen to the music and then not buy anything. And so when people aren't buying things from the vendors, vendors say that they're going to go somewhere else, and then they go somewhere else that's a little bit more established or has that perfect mix of public space, parking, and all of that all the way across. So we've decided to put a kind of a pin in it for this year and kind of recollect and see, is there somewhere else that we could have this location that meets those needs of having it out there in the community, that people can see it, but also provide parking and also have that a variety of vendors that are out there. It's very difficult to do because, as we all know, family farms are really not something that's there. It's hard to get people to bring in because you have to drive from further away, and then there's cost of gas, there's cost of staffing and all of that, so it's harder to bring people into those things in that area. But I do miss it because I went every week, and we would try and go do different things all the way from vendors. We're going to try and figure something out to see what happens for next year, because right now Jennifer's got a little tear in her eye because I know this is one of her big things. So is that anything else for that one?
No.
All right, are you going to be okay?
I'll be okay.
Okay. We do have our next town hall on July 22nd. And so somebody asked a question recently, and city councils are the organizational things. These are, in essence, business meetings. They have legislation in front of them. They debate the legislation. They talk about it, and then they go through an approval process. It's really not an opportunity for a lot of give and take. Town halls, however, are. The last town hall was about 2 hours, I would say, and we went over topics from development to parks and recreation to flock cameras to you name it. We went over it, and there's an opportunity for give and take all the way throughout. There really wasn't an agenda or a specific, hey, we're only talking about this. It kind of free flows into everything, but I usually talk about normal city functions as normal as cities can be. So this next one will be on the 22nd, and probably I'll have some things in there to address whatever the hot topics at that point in time are. Probably talk a little bit about any policies and rule changes when it comes to the Tomato Festival and things like that. Also talk about any other development news, like, hey, we are getting a brand new restaurant. It's called Bubba's 33. It's at the TGI Fridays, and yes, I'm that proud of it. So Garage Sale Week is still going on through the 14th. It's Reynoldsburg Garage Sale Week. It's free for residents. Social media was flooded. They were all over the place. So if you have that opportunity, go ahead and check that out. And while it's not in Reynoldsburg, I do want to pass this off. It is the Columbus Book Festival. It's kicking off on July 10th, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. at the main branch of the Columbus Library. And you can register there, but this is a little bit different. It's going to actually be a beach theme. So for those of you that are 21 and up, there's going to be a lot of authors there that have had books that are considered beach reads. You sit out there on the beach, you read your book and enjoy it, but they'll have some beverages, tropical drinks, and tasty beach bites. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, go ahead and do so. I'm pretty sure that our branch of the library will have something, but we'll talk more with that individual when they come on in a couple of weeks. But actually, I saw that and I'm like, this would be a fun little thing to do. So if you want to get a trip down there. Also have our walk and talks. Our next walk and talk, our first walk and talk of this year, is going to be on June 25th at Matterhorn and Tanya Terrace. So that's going to be there. We'll meet and we'll put a message board out there and saying, hey, this is where the mayor is going to be. So if you want to walk with me as I pick up some litter and have some of those more, I don't want to call them informal, but kind of relaxed conversations about what's going on in the city. All sorts of different topics are there. Typically, somebody from the school board may join me. Some members of city council will join me if it's in their area, things like that. But it's a good time to have some conversations about what's going on, because while social media does a great job of getting a lot of information out there, I know this is going to come as a shock to you. Not everything you read on social media is entirely accurate or truthful. So check that out. Hopefully you can join me there. Summer events. I told you we had a lot of different things up here. We have the concert on the lawn, June 28th, from the Reynoldsburg Community Band. They're going to kick off I guess you say that's a kickoff to our 4th of July festivities all the way throughout. So there'll be a lot of patriotic music, I'm sure. This weekend, as you know, we talked about Pride being here this weekend from 4 to 8 at Huber Park. Mojo Flow will be there, as well as all sorts of cool things like the Pet Parade. Juneteenth, we talked about with Sensation. They'll be here next Saturday on the 20th. And then to kind of put a cap on the end of the month here a little bit is our Food Truck Friday on June 26th, and that's going to be with Silver Springs, which is a Fleetwood Mac cover band. So that's going to be good. So we're going to go from Grateful Dead to, we've got Mojo Flow, to the Community Band, to Sensation, to Fleetwood Mac. It's a spectrum. Got a lot of different options there. So hopefully you can come out for that. 4th of July, we have Attaboy, which apparently is really good music, kind of like a combination of all like 90s and 2000s fun pop hits. Always going to be energetic, especially around the 4th of July, so that'll be fun. If you're interested in volunteering for any of these things to help out, please join us for that. Reach out to the city and we'll find some way to get you involved with it. It's not always just going to be picking up trash, but sometimes it might be, but there could be other things that you can do as well. We also have a couple of blood drives coming up. St. Pius on June 18th, and the Reynoldsburg Library will be having one on July 26th. We do have some pageant information. I talked about this last week. I think we only have a couple of more weeks left to register and get this set up. So on Saturday, August 1st, is going to be the whole kind of competition. You're going to have the high schools will have their candidate interviews earlier in the day, then some team building activities with lunch afterwards. All the littles, non-high school kids, will be given their opportunity to pull a name out of the hat, and then that's going to be the determining who gets to be the king or the junior king and junior queen for the littles. And then the actual high school candidates will get their, they'll know who the king and queen are actually at the Tomato Festival. So there's all of that going on. Check it out. It's still looking for people. I think we've got a decent mix, but we could always use a little bit more all the way throughout there. And the rest of our Tomato Festival information, we've talked a little bit more about our Tomato Wars, so check those out. We're looking for teams for there. The reserve seating is going to open up July 1st after the 12 o'clock show. And then we have our musical acts, Seven Bridges, which is an Eagles tribute band, on Thursday, Drew Hill on Friday, and then again, Everclear on Saturday. Hopefully we'll have who the opening acts will be here in the next couple of weeks as well. We're just tying that one particular thing down. And I'm about at the end. Got a lot of information out there. I'm sure everybody's got some questions about it. We've got two. Go for it.
The area on Lancaster, north of the church. What is the update for that space?
It is owned by a particular property. They have submitted everything and they're cleared to begin process of building. But from what we're hearing, it has either fallen through or it's not happening at the moment. So we're making sure that the property owner is able to maintain the grass as best they can. But we actually have not heard from them in a while. So I don't know what is or is not going to happen with that property. I do know that it's not for sale. And I'm sure at some point in time something will get built there, but they've kind of let it out. I don't know when their permits expire, but I think it's probably sometime this fall. So if they don't do that, if they don't get something done by then, they have to start the entire process over.
This question is, will COTA push for lane use for a metro train?
Will COTA push for a metro train? I think everybody would prefer to have a train. Unfortunately, as expensive as the one process is, I think the train, that's why they eliminated that from consideration, because it's even more expensive. 2010, with the state of Ohio had a great opportunity to get a lot of federal dollars to put in kind of that train system in there. It just didn't work out because the governor didn't want to do it. So we're kind of stuck with it at this point in time. I think if you asked anybody from COTA, not that they want to like get rid of their own particular things for the bus drivers and whatnot, I think they would like to have that in there because there's just certain advantages to it, but the cost factor is something different. But I'll ask and I'll report back what I hear.
That's all we have.
All right. So normally, I did get a comment on social media under a completely unrelated post about whether or not I do or do not answer questions on social media for the show. And for the most part, you ask them, I answer them. Now, what I notice is maybe they're looking through after the fact and they're only looking at the questions that were asked and maybe not watching the show because maybe they don't want to hear my dulcet tones throughout the entire thing. So as the day goes on, I'll probably put some information back into the chat just to kind of answer some of those questions for people who didn't want to watch the video or don't have time and just want to read. So just trying to have it out there, at least until we get our texting service or our transcript service available for that. All right. I am on vacation next week, so I am not going to be here. As a matter of fact, a week from now, I will be probably at Cape Canaveral around this time, enjoying and nerding out on all things science and space, in between trips into the Magic Kingdom and beyond, so I'm looking forward to that. But following week, on the 24th, we will be joined by Reynoldsburg Parks and Recreation Director Donna Bauman and representatives from the Reynoldsburg and Columbus Metro Library System. So they'll be here. I'm sure we're going to talk about the book festival and maybe get an idea of what those wonderful little tasty treats are and things like that. So if there's nothing else, last call.
I got one.
There you go. See,
you knew one was coming in.
Yep,
That's why you were pausing.
Yep.
Would you ever consider putting street lights or updating broken ones in a neighborhood? If so,
Yes.
how do I request it?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, if it's broken, we have to replace them. So the easiest way to do that you can kind of monitor things is the Engage Reynoldsburg app that's on your App Store or Apple. You can go ahead and check on that, and actually it kind of geography syncs it. So if you're standing right there, you can take a picture of it or just give the closest address and get it reported in. Now, the difference is not all of our light poles, for some strange reason, are Reynoldsburg light poles. Some of them are AEP, so it may take a little bit longer of it. Either way, if you let us know about it, we can honestly just pester AEP to fix it sooner, or we can get our stuff done. There was one light that I got a request in, and they were really good because I know that they knew their stuff. They actually said it was pole 815, so they knew exactly which one it was. And conveniently enough, that one was actually fixed and picked in, got into service yesterday. So if there is something out there that's yes, that is a good question. We've had some internal conversations about what do we do when some of our older neighborhoods, they had a standard of how far the lights should be, which they're further apart than what the standard is now. So the question is, do we want to start talking about finding ways to bring in other lights to those areas? Those are going to be things that we'll have conversations with those specific areas, because one, we try and coordinate it with a street program, so the kind of work crews are there and things like that. While I think streetlights are a good idea, and I think most people would be, I don't know if everybody would be there, so that would definitely be a conversation on a street-by-street basis. But if you really want to take a crack at it, let me know in the chat what street you're looking at, especially if there's one that is broken, and then we can at least kind of have those conversations. But that's a really good question, because we have been talking about that for a little while.
That's it.
All right. Everybody else have a wonderful time. I'm going to enjoy vacation. Please make sure you remember to go ahead and check out Pride this weekend, as well as Juneteenth next weekend, and all of the other great activities out there. If you do have questions, something tells me I'll probably still be on social media next week, even as I'm in. What I could do is I could actually just record It's a Small World After All and just make you all listen to that song over and over again. That would be there. But otherwise, I'll probably answer some questions out there. But otherwise, I am on vacation. So enjoy. Have a great rest of your day. And again, thanks to both my guests coming in today from the robotics team, as well as Jennifer for stepping in and talking about the great event for Juneteenth next weekend. Stay safe, stay respectful, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple weeks after you put your shopping carts away.